Well, here's what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with some drizzling rain. We got this seeded here last night. And I didn't want Alex to run down the road with this because we've got to deal with that one fitting that's leaking on that cylinder that turns that wheel on the right hand side. So we're going to go ahead and fold this up. We've got some other work to do with the other equipment, but we're going to fold this up and see if we can't get that leak fixed. So it's misting rain just enough here that it's not going to allow us to let's see, that's the wrong remote. This one maybe? Yeah. So we'll put this up, turn our wheels, we'll get this raised up in the air, and then it will start to fold itself up once we go forward here. Seat is adjusting. All right. So now we have that folded up. Now I think what I'm going to do, well, all right, now we are going to pin it up in the air and lock our steering cylinders and see if we can't fix that leak. Well, we've got everything pinned back up in the safety mode to go down the road. And if you recall in this last video here, this fitting is leaking. It's no real big deal. When you're in the field, you don't need it to function because you're not turning the wheels, but and you don't really need it to go down the road either. It's pinned right now. So what we're going to do is take this hose off, pop that fitting out, and we're going to go ahead and put a new O-ring on there. So we'll see if we can't get this guy off of there. I don't know how much pressure is on it, but we're going to find out. Got a JIC 90 degree number 8 O-ring fitting. Yeah. I'm going to take this hose off. Make this gland nut loose. And this guy should just spin right out of there. And there is the problem right there. Can you guys see that? It's a ripped O-ring. So we'll clean this guy up a little bit. Make sure there isn't any dirt down inside that port. There's the O-ring. Slap a new one on now. They can clean that port out best we can. Make sure there's no debris in it. Screw this back on in now. see what's going on. The trouble with it was this. So what it was is the gland nut was actually squeezed down too much. Actually, I'll show you. So on these fittings, these O-ring style fittings, there is a groove for that O-ring. And then what somebody had done was they didn't put this fitting in far enough. Then when they squeezed this gland nut down, it pushed the washer down and it pushed the O-ring past the threads, ripped it, and then it took its shape away. When it took its shape away, it didn't allow it to be able to seat itself in the proper groove that it was supposed to be seated into. Got that tight. We'll put our hose back on here. All right, so that there was a simple fix. All right, so we've got to travel over yonder and work on a couple of other pieces of equipment here today. Rainy day work. All right, we'll join up with you when we get over to the Hudson farm. This is kind of a nice, slow, little miserable, misty rain. It'll bring this alfalfa right out of the ground. Our geese are still playing out there. They won't hurt the alfalfa seeding. But if there was wheat planted there, they would pull that wheat right up out of the ground once it starts growing. All right. Well, we are over at the Hudson farm. This is the first field. Well, this had wheat in it, so this is the first field that we harvested this year for wheat. And this is what we're going to be seeding here next. I've got the fuel trailer staged over here. We're going to hook onto that. Then we've got 3 pieces to work on across the road here. It is just kind of drizzled, rained here on and off for most of the day. We'll probably be able to get back to seeding here around noontime tomorrow. We do have hay down that we need to get on to as well. However, looks like we're probably gonna be able to work on the seedings before we get chopping any hay. So we'll go ahead and use our backup camera. Yeah. I do need to show you guys the object that I ran over in the road with this truck, and we ended up goofing up the right rear tire. So I need to show you that. Don't let me forget it. All right, let's get hooked up and get over in the field. We can offload some fuel and do some repair work. Well, we have 3 pieces of equipment to work on. We've got to put a hose back on this Terra disc. I took the hose off last night, brought it back to the shop. This 8120 here, the air conditioning ain't working all that great. The regular blower motor is working, however the pressurization motor is not. We're going to go ahead and replace that and see if we can't get the AC working for Junior here. We're going to put this on the merger once we go into doing hay. The 9560, the condensation is not dripping out of the cab, and we had that problem with the 8320R. There is a couple of like dished out spots in the top of the cab for the condensation from the AC unit to drain out from and drain down onto the ground. Well, those holes get plugged up, water accumulates in that bowl area, and then you start to get it to come through your air vents. So we've got to pull up the cab roof on that, and we're also going to put fuel in this stuff. This ground is actually a little wetter than they've gotten more rain here than they had over there. The dirt's sticking to my shoes. I kind of thought that if it didn't rain anymore with the conditions that ground was in, if this farm was in the same condition, we could be seeding here in a couple hours, but that ain't gonna work. So let's get our hose on, see if we can get Junior fixed up and get Sarah's tractor fixed so it ain't raining on her anymore. So we've got a new hose here. Got DIN fittings. So we'll go ahead and get that on there. That's basic stuff here. Well, we went ahead and installed some fuel. We've got a panel to take off the back of the cab. I can't remember if these ones come out through the back of the cab or out from underneath the seat. I'm pretty sure they come out from under the seat. So we've got this motor in this box here. There's two blower motors. There's a pressurization motor that runs all the time. That kind of just circulates air in the cab, and that is the motor that we are going to be replacing. However, I think the AC unit just needs to be bumped with some refrigerant as well. So let's go ahead and get some pieces and parts removed here, and we'll show you what this whole process looks like here in a moment here. So yeah, all right, we've got the floor mat pulled up and setting on the fender, and now we got to start pulling up these floor panels here to see if we can't find the exact hole that the motor is hiding in. I did text Jake and I said, you know, do we have to take the seat up or the floor, or does it go through the back? And he says pressurization motor is in underneath the floor panel on the right hand side here. So we'll go ahead and start pulling all them little screws out and see if we can't find that. So we've got our floor pan removed, and the motor sets right down in there. I do have it unplugged. I have the new one setting right here. We'll go ahead and power up the tractor here. We'll plug this one in, then we'll show you that the other one doesn't work. Now this one is the circulation, well, it's the pressurization motor. So we'll turn this key on. And what you hear is the regular blower motor, and then this one is the one that feeds the air around the cab and into the cab, so you can hear that one working. However, this one does not. We need to take a few more screws out. We can get that guy pulled up out of there, and then we'll see how well this AC unit works. Alright, we've got this all up and kind of out of there. It is a dirty mess. There's something leaking on the seat. I don't know if it's a hose or if it's the actual hydraulic cylinder, because it has an active seat in it. But here's our new blower motor, and that's gonna go on there. We've got to get this old one unbolted, and it is all locked up. So I don't know how long this hasn't worked, but it's going to work when we get a new one on there. However, I don't know if it's going to need a boost of refrigerant or not. So let's go ahead and get these bolts out all the way around, and we'll get the new motor on there. Alright, so we've got the new motor all installed, and then this old one here was really scuzzy, and like I said, I do not know how long this thing has not worked. So the air planer comes in through this side here, and then this comes up through the floor. So here is the old guy here, and who knows how long this thing has been out of commission. I can't even, well, I guess I can get it to turn a little bit, but it's turning really hard, and yeah, so it's all scuzzed up here pretty good. So let's go ahead and pull these clips off, get our little gasket on there, and get it put in. Okay, so this is the hole that this guy goes back into here. We'll just pull some of this garbage out of here that's sitting on top of the fuel tank. And then this guy is going to go in just like so. And then there's two screw fasteners that hold it up to that one little bracket right there. So, yeah. Alright. Let's go ahead and get them little screws in there, and then we'll jump up in the cab and get the rest of it bolted into place. Alright, so we've got this all in there. Everything's all bolted up. This is kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest with you, but it is done. So we'll go ahead and power it up. You can hear this guy running. We've got the regular blower motor running as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the tractor up. We're going to let the tractor run with the AC unit on while we're putting this piece of sheet metal on here, and while we are putting the floor mats back in here. So let's get it started up. Oh, looks like I got one screw to put in right there. And yeah, we'll let this run. Well, we've got this all completely back together, floor mats in place. We've let this run for a good 10-15 minutes, and we've got real good airflow. However, I think the system needs a boost. So it looks like it is gonna rain hard here. So we're actually gonna run back to the shop and let this storm front move through, and then we'll come back over and take care of the 9560 and the, well, we got to do a little bit of work to the grain drill as well, just a little preventative maintenance. So we'll join back up with you in a while here. We'll run back to the shop. Yeah, so I don't know what this weather's gonna do here. Well, we are back over here. I brought a ladder over with me. Got fuel pumping in, and we'll get that roof off of that tractor, and we'll see what that looks like where the condensation is supposed to drain. I have had to take the roof off of the 8320 before to do the same thing that we're going to do now. So we'll get that roof off and we'll see what that looks like here. Okay, so we have the roof removed. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can't clean this up with this Milwaukee vacuum cleaner here. Set that there. What there is these little channels. You can see them there. There's a little bit of water setting right here. And there's another one right over in there, and you can see that there's water up in here. So we need to open up them little channels here so that we can get that water to flow out and under. Well, it goes down through a tube here, so maybe we can use this vacuum cleaner to kind of hold that up in the air. We've got one hole there that is clearly plugged. So let me see if I can stick you guys to something here. Alright, so we've got that flowing again. There's a hole here, a hole right there, and it just had a little bit of mud in it. We got that flowing again. It would be ideal if we had a blowgun over here, but we don't have a blowgun. Well, we could reverse this vacuum cleaner as well and blow them out, but we'll go ahead and jump on over to the other side and see what that looks like. We'll have to suck those out too. I have seen where this insulation stuff gets eaten by rodents, and little pieces of foil on that 8320 were plugged up in these holes here. Sometimes you can get it by just blowing air up through, but all it does is it blows your plug out of the way, and then the plug ends up making it back into the drain hole. So we'll go ahead and get the other side cleaned up, vacuum all this dust up, and then get the roof back down and in place here. Well, that's going to put the wraps on this job, and it is misting rain again. So back to the shop we go. I might as well get this tank filled up. Maybe in the next few weeks we'll be able to use this tank when we start chopping hay. If this weather keeps going the way it's going to be a while. All right, back to the shop we go. Well, just like that, things have dried out immensely today, and we are seeding. Windows are a little dusty and they are a little dirty. So we are trying something a little different. We've got the roller going in the field, and she is rolling a little strip. She just did a strip down and back in this field just to kind of see if it makes a difference at all. We've got a strip to our right on this other side of this poor piece of corn. This corn, I mean, look at that. We got a stalk bent there, and just, I don't know, this corn is gonna, it's hurting a little bit. So it's gonna take a lot of acres this year to fill the bunks. So yeah, but at any rate, she rolled the field on the other side of this strip of corn here, and she came down through the middle of this field. She's just gonna do a pass down and back, and then I've got a strip down on the other side of that piece of corn, that stuff that's like 4 foot tall over there. And yeah, that's some poor looking stuff. But at any rate, she's gonna start rolling that one, and then she can come back up into this one, and we'll just kind of keep on keeping on here. Sarah went to running the Terra disc, and Andrew is all hooked on to the merger. He's servicing that now, and Kaz Equipment was there when I left. They were gonna charge the AC system on that 8120. And hopefully they get that AC in working order. after putting the blower motor in and whatever else. And Sarah did say, once I told her that I had her water situation fixed, she did say that when she was on a side hill leaning to the right, that's when the system rained down on her coming out of these vents. We've seen it happen with this tractor as well. This spring, before I ended up going around and fixing seatings, I popped the roof off of this and fixed this tractor. And then my father, he asked me what I was doing this morning, and he said the 7730 is doing the same thing to him. So that is gonna do it for this video. Alex wants to know if I want another pass done here. I think we're all set. So take it easy, folks. Hopefully we come back at you with some chopping video here in the next one. Window's awful dirty. You guys can't tell if I'm running over corn there or if I am just really close. All right, take it easy, folks.